Okay, we're going to continue our top 10 songs. This time we're going to feature the music of Neal Morse, um, pretty much an icon in the progressive rock community. He has become so big, I guess, in a small way that he's kind of brought in a lot of people that listen to Christian music as well, Christian rock, and his audience has, I wouldn't doubt if it's quadrupled in recent years. So he's really taken advantage of that, and the his association with Mike Portnoy, formerly of Dream Theater. Um, Whenever he has festivals, things like that, if Portnoy's with him, he'll put featuring Mike Portnoy. So he's really built up that relationship. So he's done like 5 Morse fests down in Nashville, and those have all been I would say, a success. He keeps doing them.
I think it's
The-
six actually now.
yeah, the last one had about triple the amount of people there, and so yeah, so he's really it. This has gone way beyond what he had in Spock's Beard. Even though in Spock's Beard, you could argue that they were, you know, ready to hit it big in that genre. But boy, I don't think they were anything close to what he's doing now as far as an audience. So here we go. He's still very active today, and very active with the band Transatlantic. Um, and we're gonna go ahead. Oh, and Flying Colors also. We're gonna let Mike lead things off here. Uh, yep, you are up. Good luck, because this was a hard one.
Well, what I'm going to say about Neal Morse is that he is the most amazing musician I've ever seen. Um, as far what a talented songwriter, prolific songwriter. By far, nobody I ever seen is near him. But great songwriter, great musician, great vocalist, great performer.
Yeah.
He's got it all.
And he keeps writing more epics. I
Yeah,
think another epic, another epic, another. He just,
yeah.
I don't know how he
I,
does
I
it.
remember one night when I couldn't sleep. I went through his in my head. I went through his discography, from Spock's to Transatlantic to solo, and I remember being in the 30s, as far as epic songs,
Oh
when I was
gosh.
going through in my head. Um, I a most amazing prog artist or musician I've ever come across myself, and I can't say enough about him and his music. Um, just song after song, album after album of great stuff. Thank God he's around, because there's it put out so much music, so much great music, and to me, my my favorite my favorite artist, um, by far. Um, yeah, this one was a difficult one to go through, and again, like we had talked about other artists, it was difficult to it's difficult on several of his concept albums. Yeah, Testimony 2, uh, question mark, Great Adventure and Similitude.
How do you pull something out of
Yeah,
there?
yeah. So it took a long time for me, especially having to listen to those 4 or 5 concept albums and pick out songs out of there. Um, when again, like we talked about earlier, where they all just kind of flow together, but in having to pick them out as individual songs. So I did my best, and we'll run through them here. And I have a feeling Mark and I are going to have quite a few differences. And it'll be interesting to I'm anxious to hear his list.
Oh, I'm anxious to hear yours too, because I know we're going to have a lot of differences.
Yeah, so start off on my top 10, going chronologically with his releases. From the second album, One, no doubt you've got this on there, The Creation, which has been one of our favorites since soon after it came out. We weren't enamored with One when it came out immediately, but we grew to find out how great it was. But The Creation's just an incredible epic. Watching it live on videos or the studio version. I picked out a couple from Question Mark album. And that is Sweet Elation and Entrance. Those two stuck out. At one point, probably before the last two albums, that was probably my favorite of his until Similitude and Great Adventure came along. I always considered it because I loved it all the way through. So it was kind of difficult to pick those two out, but those are two great parts of that album. From Testimony 2, actually on the bonus disc, I believe, is Seeds of Gold. I guess it really wasn't part of the Testimony 2 album properly. It was just the bonus disc, but a 20-plus minute epic, which is just brilliant. And the one part I love about that album is the opening piano passage is just incredible.
We've seen him do it live a few times. I don't know when or how he did it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. From and again, I think it's a bonus disc, pretty much bonus disc from Lifeline is Set the Kingdom. I've loved that album. I think it somehow you got that, Mark, before it came out on Lifeline. You might have got it from Neal's
Inner Circle.
Inner Circle.
Yeah.
And I remember when you first gave me a copy of that for me, I believe it.
Yep.
I was like, wow, I love this song.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. I liked the first version more than the version that's on Lifeline. But I love the song. Definitely top 10.
You know what's also interesting about that song? He's never done it live.
Yeah, that's true. Wonder why. Next is from the Grand Experiment, and I don't even know what to say about this song. Alive Again, what just incredible epic. And I say as much as I love Neal's vocals, Eric Gillette's vocals on that song are just, well, anytime he sings it's incredible, but his vocals on there and Bill Hubauer's part towards the middle end, that part where he sings for about 2 or 3 minutes is just just incredible. That is just an incredible part of that song. The whole song is just great, though. And then actually 3 songs from Similitude that I was able to pick out. So Far Gone, the song that really, really blows me away from Similitude is Breath of Angels. I just love that song. That's an amazing song. That ends the first disc, and then ending the second disc is Broken Sky, Long Day. What a incredible climactic end to that album, and to the concerts that we saw. No concert. We see that one time. Yeah. Just incredible song.
That just brought the house down.
Yeah. And lastly on my top 10 is A Love That Never Dies from The Great Adventure.
Okay.
Now, going to my honorable mentions, and one thing that you'll find interesting is that I don't have anything from Sola Scriptura.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Even though it's an excellent album, and I found too many other things that would came before that. And here's something that'll surprise you. I've got 2 songs from Testimony. I figured that would surprise you.
From Testimony?
Yeah. Wasted Life and I Am Willing. I just love those 2 songs. Great songs. A couple from One, Author of Confusion and Separated Man. Title track from Lifeline. From Similitude, Makes No Sense. And lastly, a couple from The Great Adventure. Welcome to the World. Love that song. When I first heard it, did not like it. When it first came out on the video, it's like, what's going on here? But once kind of put in context in the album, great to see it live, and I love the song now. And another great vocal moment for Eric Gillette is I Got to Run. So that wraps up my top 18. Probably a few surprises there.
Yeah, some of your earlier stuff is quite different. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go. Actually, you'd be surprised. There's a couple shockers for me that you didn't have.
Okay.
Okay. Here's my top 10. The Creation. Like Mike said, another great tune, incredible live, just wonderful. One song from Sola Scriptura, The Conclusion. That's just got incredibly dramatic vocals, and it's just classic Neal, just wonderful. A Love That Never Dies, which is the final track to The Great Adventure. And that is that just brings down the house too. That's just incredible. There's some versions out there on YouTube that are just awesome. Eric Gillette on that song is unbelievable. Seeds of Gold, Breath of Angels, Welcome to the World.
Wow.
Broken Sky slash Long Day. Just when Long Day kicks in, I mean, good grief. I it just want to blow my ears off listening to
Yeah,
it.
I know.
So the last three are songs that I'm a little surprised you didn't have. Number one, from the Great Experiment, The Call. Okay. So Many Roads. And The Great Despair. Those were a little surprised. There's too much to choose from, though. That's why it was a little surprising. Just, of course, you're probably wondering how I don't have Separated Man or Author of Confusion on there. So, makes sense. Okay, my honorable mention. Now, these are going to be you've only got one on your list, maybe two. I Got to Run.
Got
That you got that, and that's off The Great Adventure.
Yeah, that's an incredible song.
That's it.
Okay.
You got nothing else. Oh, one more. I Am Willing
Mm-hmm. Wow.
from Testimony.
Okay.
That's incredible. Now, I went a little different way on these. I kind of stuck to more of ballads. So there are going to be some, with one exception. So I got Reunion from one. And why I always liked that was it was always a very entertaining concert song. And it always brought a smile to my face. It was just it was enjoyable watching Neal do it. Neal loves doing it. He plays it live all the time. I like that. Then Cradle to the Grave. I wasn't so big on that song, and then it sort of grew on me, and then I finally started listening to it a little repeatedly, and I love it. I think it's incredible. A very cool song. Another ballad from I think it's from The Great Experiment, Waterfall. Very beautiful song. Then we got from the bonus disc of Lifeline, I think, or it may never have been released. Fly High. Is that on?
It's on something.
He released it
It's
way
on a
after the
bonus
fact.
disc on something, yeah. Yeah, that's a great song. That came out. I first heard that was Set the Kingdom.
It came out with
yeah.
Set the Kingdom, yeah. But I love it.
But it
finishes.
did show up on a bonus.
Yeah, it
disc.
finishes incredible.
Yeah.
Then another beautiful ballad from Lifeline, The Way Home. Neal's great vocals. Neal loves doing ballads, and he's great at it, and I love it. And then the last one from Similitude. At first, I absolutely despised it, and then I loved it. The Ways of a Fool. That's it.
So did you not include Alive Again?
No, I did not.
Wow. What is it about that? I'm just curious because I know you just love that Bill Hubauer solo part and the end with Eric Gillette.
I just had my radar on mellower ballad songs. It probably would have been in the honorable mention if I already had 8, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Honestly, of all his ballads, you list 10, maybe just list like 10 of his top ballads and you put that in there, that, for me, that would probably be, towards the bottom.
Epics, you mean, or
Yeah.
Epics?
Epics, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you could argue that song is way better than some of the ballads that I got on here. It's just I just went a different road.
Yeah.
But the top 10s are pretty close.
Yeah, it looks like, I think we only got 7 in agreement, if I got this right. Yeah, which is probably the least we had an agreement on any artist so far, but I would say that's probably, a lot of it's a result of the material he's got. There's so many albums at this point.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how many albums he's got.
No.
What is it, 10 or so?
Yeah. Well, like The Call, at first I didn't even like The Call. And I definitely didn't, and I'm still not wild about the beginning of it.
Yeah, the very beginning I don't care for, but it's a great song.
Yeah, it really, but
Great song.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bottom line is,
there's no wrong answer here.
And as far as solo artists or individuals, he's my favorite, and by far he's the most talented musician I've ever seen or heard or whatever. There's no one as good as him.
Yeah, and we've actually sat down and talked to him a couple different times, and he
had coffee with him once.
Had lunch with him. And don't ask how we pulled that off, but we did.
Yeah.
But we did, and that was something else. Because a lot of it's amazing some of the things he said. Some were prophetic, some were completely not where he was going, some were exactly where he was going, and it's interesting. Because he had there's a few things. He had no interest at that point when we met up with him to do Transatlantic anymore. He had no interest in playing live. He just said it wasn't him. He wasn't into performing anymore. Those are his exact words.
Yeah, then he decided to throw something at us.
Yes.
About putting together like a festival and play a couple of his albums.
Yeah.
He just was throwing that out at us, of all people. And oh my gosh, it came to be a gigantic, today it's a gigantic festival.
Yeah, it took 7 years. It took 7 years to happen, but it did.
Yeah, it's amazing. So many great memories of him live, of meeting him.
Yeah.
And his music is, to me, if not my favorite artist, he's definitely top. I can say this: he's top 4, and any given day he's the best.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I could talk about him for hours. That's how special he is.
This is how special he is. We got incredible epics like Alive Again and So Many Roads, and I didn't have one, and you didn't even have one on your list. That's how many great songs he's got.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, there is no wrong answer.
Yeah.
I could have completely revamped the way I did my honorable mentions, and I would have had Alive Again. I probably would have had Author of Confusion in there. Probably Lifeline. I mean, it's, like I said, I still love it. I mean, this is just a list. This list could be completely different in a month.
Yeah, neither one of us chose anything from Momentum. I think that's the only
Yeah.
album we actually left off between two of us, other than, I guess, Testimony 2, the proper part of Testimony 2.
Yeah,
But
Testimony 2, we saw it live. Trying to think of how to say it. It wasn't, he was trying to, it was obvious he was trying to do something different. It was more kind of like song oriented, where I don't think anything stuck out and grabbed you. I think it, maybe it was rushed. I don't know. I don't think, some of the songs were all right.
yeah,
They were listenable. They weren't
right.
horrible songs. But we liked all his. I mean, we liked all his other albums better.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's
exactly.
if we had to if we had to make a list, it would definitely be at the bottom.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. We'll close this one up. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think. If you're a fan, let us know what you think of our experiences, and just give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.